My name is Alex Jorgensen,
And my name is Clare Baldwin.
and we are honored to be your Spring 2020 commencement speakers. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, man, those people look really familiar, but I don't quite remember where I know them from.
Let's see if we can refresh your memory.
I may have handed you a condom at campus kickoff, or maybe even busted one of your parties as an RA.
I may have tried to recruit you into Alpha Sigma Alpha, or you may have seen me spend way too much time in the student union.
Together, we have spent more than our fair share of time here at UAA, and we can think of no better way to end our experience than addressing you now in this moment.
While the format may be different, the cause for celebration is even greater. We stand before you today as representatives of our graduating class, a group of individuals determined enough to face challenges the ordinary university student would see as insurmountable.
Some of us are graduating programs that will cease to exist next year, programs that our state desperately needs. We have seen our university morph in ways we never thought possible, from skyrocketing tuition to declarations of financial exigency.
Not only have we fought for the very existence of our university, we are currently in the midst of a global pandemic. Despite all this, we arrive at this moment, stronger and more united than ever.
It's important to look back at the journey, a journey you may think is over, but little do you know, we just have one more ask of you, but we'll get to that in a moment. Reflecting on my past 5 years here at the university has brought me back to high school. When I was in 9th grade, I had a math teacher named Siri. Siri loved math. He loved his job, and more importantly, he loved his students. In fact, he cared so much that he would regularly assign 50 to 60 algebra problems every night. Now, as you can imagine, we complained a lot. It's almost as we went through the 5 stages of grief every time he assigned homework. No matter how much we complained, he never budged. Every time we complained, however, he wrote a single word on the whiteboard. That word was persevere. At the time, it became a mantra of collective suffering. Every time someone complained about the homework load, we'd all go back, persevere. However, after the 5 years I've spent here at UAA, I find no better word to describe the ethos of this graduating class. But to persevere means a lot more than just finishing math homework. It means when the road gets bumpy, you buckle down and work twice as hard to get to where you're going. Despite all the obstacles that lie ahead, you keep moving forward. These past 5 years have been a rough road for the university. Steady funding reductions paired with conversations of fundamental restructuring have created a fog of uncertainty over the entire university system. Renowned faculty have left, programs have been and will be discontinued as we try to figure out what's next for UAA. But there's still one thing that stands strong, and that's us, the graduating class of 2020. Despite everything, we are still standing together in this moment, ready to graduate. And actions speak so much louder than words. When policymakers counted us out, we didn't give up. We persevered. When the road got tough, we buckled down. When decision makers proposed to cut our budget by 40%, we rallied outside the Alaska Airlines Center to the tune of 3,500 people to show the great state of Alaska how strong our voice really is. We persevered.
This collective experience we have as a graduating class goes much deeper than that. On top of the environment we have existed in, we have all had our own trials and tribulations. We have all had personal obstacles along our journey here at UAA. I want you to close your eyes. Think of an instance or situation that almost prevented you from graduating. Maybe you lost a loved one, a friend, or a family member. Maybe you were without a home or enough food to power through the late nights. These obstacles may have seemed insurmountable. You are receiving what might be a life dream, perhaps something no one else in your family has ever accomplished, or this might simply be a stepping stone onto your next journey. Regardless of how you got to this point in time, we all have one thing in common. We all overcame a challenge. A majority of us worked full-time while attending school. Many of us had the added responsibility of caring for a dependent or a family member in the process. Some of us had to take a few semesters off because life got in the way. Regardless of what you have been through, we have all made it together.
Everyone graduating this semester has experienced something that has pushed them beyond what they thought they were capable of, maybe even to the breaking point. The fact that we all crossed the finish line is a testament that we can overcome anything that stands in our way. This ought to be the soul of who we are, of what it truly means to be a Seawolf. So the next time someone from UAF asks you, what's a Seawolf? You can proudly tell them as someone who overcomes all obstacles and stops at nothing to achieve their goals. As we move forward with our lives, we can reflect on this very moment of accomplishment as evidence that our ability to overcome adversity is truly unlimited. While it may appear that your journey with UAA is coming to a close, we are here to ask one more thing of you. It won't involve homework or reading senseless chapters in a textbook. It involves a valuable lesson that we've both learned over the past 2 years serving in student government. During this time, an immense burden was placed on our shoulders. I can't tell you how many hours, days, weeks we spent late into the night strategizing our messaging to best represent you, the students, and try to keep tuition and fees low while keeping as many programs as we can alive. This was valuable time spent away from our classes, but it was time well spent because it taught us an important lesson. Education is worth fighting for. This community here at UAA is worth fighting for.
There is something that I learned during my time in my sorority, Alpha Sigma Alpha, that has stayed with me ever since my final night of recruitment. You represent us. As I sat in a cold, dark room, listening to the values of an organization that I so desperately wanted to join, this phrase was repeated over and over again by the leaders in Alpha Sigma Alpha. It's a simple phrase, but it carries a lot of weight. You represent us. Being in a sorority is a huge commitment, not only in the amount of time and energy you put into volunteering to help lead the chapter, but in the responsibility you carry to ensure that being in a sorority remains an option for women for generations to come. Year after year, the actions of a few ruin the opportunities of many, as sorority and fraternity chapters are closed and shuttered across the country. This is where the phrase, you represent us, comes in. When extending membership to Alpha Sigma Alpha, we want to ensure we're only extending it to those that will reflect the best of the sorority, literally for the survival of our organization. It's an incredibly important lesson to impress upon new members, one I was lucky enough to deliver during our fall recruitment last year, and one I'm lucky enough to deliver again now. You represent us. By this, I mean, as a new alumni of the university, we are the best representation UAA can ever offer to the state. Better than any lobbying or PR team, as we go out across the state and start jobs and take on careers, we are the best representatives of what a UAA education can do. Where we go, what we do, how we act, will all tie directly back to this institution. When you go out to celebrate your graduation, you represent us. When you walk in for your first job interview, you represent us. When you close a business deal, you represent us. When you get promoted, you represent us. When you apply and get accepted to graduate school, you represent us. When you become a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, engineer, or a healthcare professional, you represent us. When you use the phrase #UAAamazing, you represent us. When you get elected to public office, you represent us.
For over 2 years, we have helped represent you, the students, to faculty and staff governance groups, to the chancellor and the cabinet, to the Board of Regents and President Johnson, and even to dozens of legislators in Juneau. Now, it's time that we ask the same of you.
Access to post-secondary education has been under attack for years, with no end in sight. It is now our responsibility as alumni to share with others what gift our university has given us, an education. But in order for more people to share in this gift, we must take action. It is not enough to just embody the values of our institution and expect others to take notice.
There comes a time when you must fight for what matters. Now is that time. We must work together to ensure that future generations of Alaskans have access to this very institution we have been lucky enough to call home. The future of our state is uncertain. Just as we persevered through our years here at UAA, we will continue to persevere through the next chapter in our state's history, using the knowledge from our education to do so.
As we go off and start new lives across this state, may we remember who gave us these opportunities, and keep in mind that as graduates of this university, We owe a debt no amount of student loans will ever repay. We represent the future of our state, no matter where that takes us. Just remember,
You represent us.